Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News online edition. Just ahead, houses of horror in Fallujah. We'll show you what door-to-door searches revealed. Also, a report you won't see anywhere else, the Bible versus biology. Eye on America takes a hard look at an issue that divides the nation to this day, and call it a new low in tastelessness. We'll report on a new video game that's based on the assassination of President John Kennedy. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News online edition. The U.S. military said today 3 more Marines and an Army soldier wounded in Iraq have died. That pushed the number of Americans known to have been killed so far in November past 100. It's the second worst month of the war for U.S. forces. In Baghdad, mortar fire hit a residential neighborhood, killing at least 1 civilian. A brief, intense firefight broke out near hotels in the center of the capital. And CBS's Lee Cowan reports U.S. troops in Fallujah made more gruesome discoveries.
U.S. commanders say their door-to-door patrols have uncovered nearly 24 houses of horror in the back streets of Fallujah.
The face of Satan was here in Fallujah, and I'm absolutely convinced that was true.
Found by Marines following trails of dried blood or the smell of death. Some rooms were hidden behind fake walls or concealed in basements. Residents told troops they only knew the torture chambers were there because they could hear the screams at night.
We found numerous houses also where people were just chained to a wall for extended periods of time.
Marines believe they found the place where British hostage Kenneth Bigley was caged, and others, where American hostages may have been held. Forensics teams are testing blood on the walls and floors to determine who was held there. And intelligence officials are hoping interviews with those already in U.S. custody can uncover even more. Between U.S. and Iraqi forces, more than 1,400 people have been detained in connection with the Fallujah operation, but already more than 400 have been released after it was determined they were non-combatants. Officials concede some of the very people responsible for the abductions could already be walking the streets again, planning to restart what had become Fallujah's most notorious industry.
We've seen a small business grow out of someone that will do the kidnapping and then sell the person they've kidnapped off to one insurgent group or another. And they'll basically give them to the highest bidder.
A cold reality that will stain this city for generations, whether the insurgents return here or not. Lee Cowan, CBS News, near Fallujah.
2 weeks after the election, a CBS News New York Times poll finds most Americans are optimistic about the next 4 years, but only 2 out of 5 believe President Bush will be able to unite the nation. This week, CBS looks at some of the issues that divide the nation. Religious issues, for one, including evolution. More than half of Americans say they believe God created humans. 40% say humans evolved. 2 out of 3 believe both points of view should be taught in schools, and therein lies a battle, as CBS's Mark Strassman reports in tonight's Eye on America.
High school junior Miller Clark's biology book comes with a controversial disclaimer. This sticker inside says Charles Darwin's theory of evolution is a theory, not a fact, that should be critically considered. In Cobb County, Georgia, it's a new twist to an old controversy that packs school board meetings.
Darwin considered it a theory, and it is still a theory. It has never been proven and never will be. Thank you.
And pits red parents like creationist Marjorie Rogers.
Give them the evidence and then let them make up their own minds.
Against blue parents like Jeff Selman.
It's a religious group that wants to take our country away from us, and they can't have it.
Dateline, Dayton, Tennessee, July 11th, 1925.
Several generations after the famous Scopes monkey trial.
The final death struggle between 2 basic human philosophies, fundamentalism versus modernism.
Creationists in Cobb County, an affluent conservative community, convinced the local school board that disclaimer was necessary.
My interest from the start and all along has been that the science that is presented in the textbooks be accurate, which it has not been, be up to date, which it has not been, and be even-handed.
With the re-election of President Bush and new momentum now behind morality issues, the country could be in for many more collisions like the one in Cobb County. According to the National Center for Science Education, that clash is already ongoing in 24 states. American communities struggling with how best to teach students how human life began. Around Atlanta, many families move to Cobb County just for the schools, which have the highest SAT scores in Georgia. 13 different textbooks touch on evolution, and every one of them has the sticker. A half dozen parents opposed to the stickers sued in federal court as a violation of church and state. Jeff Selman is one of them.
Does creationism have any place in a science course?
Not at all. I defend every American's right to believe any which way they want to. I'll stand shoulder to shoulder with them to defend that right. And on the other hand, I'll stand toe to toe and nose to nose with them to defend our right to keep our education pure.
A judge's ruling on the sticker could come at any time in this evolution of a familiar collision between biology and theology. In Cobb County, Georgia, I'm Mark Strassman for Eye in America.
It's here again, November 22nd. Like September 11th, an unforgettable dark day on the American calendar. The day in 1963 when President John F. Kennedy was murdered. Today, CBS's Bob McNamara reports a Scottish company marked the anniversary by releasing a video game that has disappointed and outraged the Kennedy family.
President's car is now turning onto Elm Street.
41 years down the information superhighway, the video game JFK Reloaded may have pushed the cultural bounds of bad taste to a record low. On screen, you are assassin Lee Harvey Oswald with the presidential motorcade in the rifle's crosshairs. And clicking the computer mouse, shots can be fired on the limousine's lifelike passengers. But today on Dallas airwaves, conservative talk shows fired back.
Boy, circle this day in the calendar because I don't always say it. Ted Kennedy is right. This is pretty despicable.
Created in Scotland, the game has a dozen replay angles of the recreated murder scene and sound effects of the rifle firing and reloading. The game makers defend it as educational.
It's a mature approach. We've tried to take a dignified approach. We understand the delicacy of the subject, but at the same time, we believe that it's a valuable contribution.
But what the game really teaches is disputed by video game violence expert Craig Anderson.
Basically, you're teaching people how to commit antisocial behaviors, in this case, homicide or an assassination.
The game is sold on the internet for under $10, and its makers are offering a $100,000 prize to a contestant who can most accurately recreate the shots fired on the motorcade. At the real Dealey Plaza today, many had heard of the game.
If somebody wants to make money on that event, so be it.
It's a little tasteless.
The day of that doomed journey is burned into the American psyche. And even on its 41st anniversary, it is the source of yet another burning controversy. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Dallas.
More stories are just a click away, but be sure to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Tuesday's broadcast, what if your pharmacist refused to fill a prescription on what he calls moral or religious grounds? It's happening more and more. A look at why when CBS's Eye on America special series rolls on. For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.